Last month, I told some stories about the dating life, and I sort of settled with somebody for several weeks now. And I remember talking about this one specific subject on a Twitch stream, and I ended up having this conversation with them. I was goofy about it when I was talking about it on Twitch, but it hits different now when you have that conversation with somebody who is genuinely serious about it. So I was hanging out with her, and I randomly thought about asking this. I was like, yo, what was high school like for you? Were you popular, a loner, etc., right? And she was telling me that, oh, like she wasn't popular, but everyone knew her at her school. And I said the same thing in my case. I said, listen, everyone knew who I was in high school, but I wasn't like a popular kid, you know what I'm saying? Everyone knew like, oh, that's Andre. And that was it. Like I didn't get invited to stuff. Like it was just, oh, that's Andre. So I said, you know what's interesting? Random thought. When I was in high school, it seems things have changed now. And I'm not that old, don't get it twisted. But when I was in high school, we didn't have anyone who was transgender. We had people who were gay, bisexual, and all this other stuff, besides someone who was officially out there as transgender. And she's like, really? At my school, we had a few. And they were very open about it. And they were like, I remember this one person, they always got bullied and picked on for it. And they were always fighting back with people who were trying to bully them. One day, they brought a belt to school to hit people who were bullying them. And I was like, hold on. Hey, that's crazy. So I was telling her, like, you know, what what would your stance be on something like that? You know, let's say our relationship gets so serious to where we start a family in the future, and then we have a child, and later on they tell us they want to be, I don't know, male to female, female to male, or this thing and that. We got so many things going on. I don't know what to be specific, the word to put down. Okay, let's just say they want an alphabet. Okay, and I asked her, how would she feel or handle it? So she told me that she would support it completely from top to bottom. Everything they need, she'll do. And I said, in my head, I was thinking, uh-oh. Now, don't get it twisted. And feel free to share your opinion or disagree with me and my personal take on this. I said, well, how I personally would feel is that if I were to be put in the situation, I would not be against supporting my child who feels they're in a phase where they need to identify as something else. I wouldn't shun it or tell them something is wrong. Basically, I would support it. But completely is a different conversation. Let's say I have a child and they're 15 or 16 or 17, whatever, right? And they say they feel like, Dad, I feel like a woman stuck in a man's body, whatever, right? Okay, hey, you're still my child. I love you. I'll support you through whatever journey or experience you feel that you're going through. However, I won't support permanent decisions or decisions that would have a strong effect later on in your life. An example of this would be gender affirming care. In the United States, in certain states, mostly blue states, sorry to say this politically, it's just trying to paint the picture of what states support this, okay? Most of those states allow minors who are 13 to 17 years old to access puberty blockers or hormones. Kids are on HRT nowadays and going through some sort of gender changing surgery. But to access this, they have to have parental or guardian consent. Now, as a parent or guardian, that's where my boundary is. Yes, I support you. I love you. I will emotionally support you as well, everything. But I wouldn't give consent to that. When you turn 18, do whatever you want. Okay, you turn 18, go to the doctor, sign off on everything. Okay, get whatever you want. I ain't gonna stop you. But see, when I say I support you, some people say, well, how can you support them if they want to go through that? How can you say you support them, but you say no to that? See, when she says she will completely support it, and I clearly support it, but not completely, it brought up some contention. And I explained my point. Yes, I support it, but when you're 18, take care of whatever medical intervention you are doing. And she was like, that actually makes sense, and I agree. And the point I made to her was this. Look, and this goes back to why I said, like, it counts as support still, regardless of me saying no. Until a child reaches adulthood, I think I have every right as a parent to be reasonable and have a protective stance. What people fail to understand or not consider, which I don't understand why people don't ever think about this for some reason when it comes to this subject here, is that gender affirming care like hormone therapy or surgeries is not just an act of physical change. That's not it. It involves emotional change, psychological change, and it could lead to long-term consequences or effects. As a parent, I could support your identity without rushing into medical procedures. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, I also understand that many who are in distress due to severe gender dysphoria, depression, or dangerous thoughts about their existence, they may feel that a medical transition will reduce their depression or dark thoughts or self-hatred thoughts, right? Images with their self-esteem. I 100% get that. I hear you. But oftentimes, we actually know the solution to our problems. We just don't have access to it or can't necessarily do it, right? Such as being a teenager who needs parental or guardian consent to go through a medical transition and your parent telling you no. In that case, if going through a puberty blocker or hormone therapy or anything can help against your dangerous thoughts or anything distressful going on in your mind, the only way I would make an exception to my answer being no is if you are evaluated by a therapist, a psychologist, or an endocrinologist who PS handles hormone levels. I would need consistent evaluations from medical professionals because I'm not an expert. Why would I consent to something when I'm not an expert on it? Like, see, now that I think that would be bad parenting. I think that would not be truly supporting you. It doesn't make sense. You know what I'm saying? Let me go through a professional. And if the medical professionals feel like, hey, Andre, your child's distress is affecting their biological levels so badly that something needs to happen for the safety of your child to reduce harm to their current mental state. If I was told that, that would be the only way for me to be like, all right, I guess we have to go through it. But again, once you're 18, do whatever you want. You know what I'm saying? Like, I've seen people make an argument, though, saying that delaying their treatment or medical transition until they're 18 can increase their distress. Like, so me saying no, wait until you're 18 and do whatever you want, apparently to some arguments, to some people, I'm making it worse for them. And I don't know, maybe some of you guys watching this video, maybe you know what I'm talking about. If you are somebody who was or who is a transgender teen, maybe, you know, you may have spoken to your parents about this and you were told no, and then it bothers you. You feel like they don't love you. They feel like they don't support you. But I'm trying to give my perspective on it and how I would handle it. I'm a grown ass man. You know what I'm saying? So I don't know, like, yo, you know, I could even, some people can make a counter argument to it. Maybe you feel like it's making it worse for you that you have to wait until like you can consent to it. You know what I'm saying? Like, look, the counter argument though, and I've heard people say this, like people be like, yo, treatments are too extreme. And when they're too early for a developing child or teenager, you put them through this and you don't know what's going to happen or how they may feel in the future about their decisions. And I have to say it, but because this doesn't apply to everyone's situation, so don't get this twisted, but I have to say it. Sometimes, especially as a teenager or young adult, we go through phases. Sometimes our anxiety, our self-image can get so distorted due to depression from many other factors that we question our own identity. We question what encourages or works around our self-esteem. Making permanent decisions or decisions that will affect your body severely is something that shouldn't be done too early or impulsively. Get what I'm saying? It's very simple. I support you and I love you, but I wouldn't give consent to a medical transition right now. I feel like me just saying that is still compassionate and boundary setting as a stance. I'm clearly acknowledging how my hypothetical child feels while holding my own principles on what I believe is in the best interest as a parent. Isn't that what parenting is? Loving someone even when you have to say no? Agree or disagree? What do you guys feel? Let me know down below in the comments. This episode was found on Spotify and YouTube. I'm out.